All right, it's 7 o'clock, so let's get it started. And I'm not sure if the other two students will join or not, because I know they have an competition coming up this weekend, and they both are in our robotics club. They learned Java in our Java classes. Then I encourage them to join the robotic club because in the club they can use the Java skills to program the robot and to do the things that the competition requires. So they are in that competition, and there's a competition coming up this weekend. The one competition just finished, and the one team advanced to the state. If you guys wanted to do more on Java programming, and if you are local in our Washington, D.C. area, like Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, you could think about that if you wanted to go further to do Java programming in robotics, and let me know. All right, so let me share my screen. Last week we talked about how to write a class, and did not finish it. But as I mentioned multiple times, this session, these 8 classes, we're just in to review, see if we understand all the basics that AP computer science will test you. And after this session, then we will do more practice. And during that practice, I will give you a lot of quizzes and exercises, and I will see your weakness when you do those. Then I will help you improve your skills on those weaknesses. Um, okay, so last week we talked about 2 special methods. I did not teach you guys in our Java class. One is accessor methods. It's also called a getter methods. And of course, this is another one called a toString. So you are trying to get the attribute value of the fields. And another one is a set. So this is also called, let me go here, mutative methods. It's a set. You see, the method name is like that. The property name, or we see the field variable name, actually is a lowercase n name, okay? This one, lowercase n name. But when you do this method, it's called set, and then uppercase n. Just remember that that's a convention, okay? It's a convention. If you really wanted to get a little bit more or deep into it, I do not think it will test you, but I think this website is worth of reading or notice. Can you guys just spend like 2 minutes with this website and just some concepts, and you will see get and set method are required for Java beans, and all the properties must be private. You do not want to expose your attributes to the outside world, to external. So you have to use a private for your attributes. You use set and the get method to manipulate the values. Go ahead and read this website. I think I have it here. And you see what is a POJO? This is just a jargon, okay? A jargon POJO, what is POJO, and then what is Java beans? 2 terms. I really want you guys to go through it, and you see here you have a get ID, get name, get salary. And once you come to the Java beans, okay, you will see set properties. So these are the methods required for Java Beans. Just quickly read it. You may not be tested at all on those, but I just want you to expand your vision a little bit. All right, once you come back, so mutate methods are set methods. Why it is mutated? Because you change the value of the attributes or the fields. And we know when you compare two objects to see if they are the same, there is a convention there. If the properties has the same value, then these two objects we consider content equal. Okay, content equal. So now you make a change to it. So that's why you make it change. So that's why it is called a mutate methods. Now let's come to a step further. So immutable class. What is in a class that is immutable? So once an object is created, we cannot change its content. So you will not have any set method for that kind of class. So all the wrap classes like integer, boolean, byte, short, and the string class, they are all immutable. Once you create an object, that object cannot be changed. Okay? That object cannot be changed. So this is immutable. So the requirements for an immutable class must be declared as final. So this no child class can be created for this class. Database members, so that means the fields or we say attributes, must be declared as private. Java Bean also require the attributes to be private, so that direct access is not allowed. And the data members must be declared as final as well. Java Bean does not have this requirement, okay? So that we cannot change the value of it after the object is created. So that's the requirements, and we have more. So let's come to the next slide. So a parameterized construct should initialize all the fields performing a deep copy, so that the data members cannot be modified with object reference. Okay? So you have to have an constructor. That constructor will initialize the attribute value. Deep copy of objects should be performed in the get methods to return a copy rather than returning the actual object reference. So this is actually the definition for deep copy. So you can copy an object, right? But do not just do a shallow copy. Shallow copy, that means pretty much you reference to the same object. So if you make a change, you change the object you referenced to as well. You say A equal to B, and then you change A's field, let's say name. And then actually B's name also get changed. It's a shallow copy. Okay. But a deep copy, so you have a copy of your own data. They are saved in a different memory slot. So you can change your value. So you have an independent copy. So that's a deep copy, okay? And you should not have status. That's consistent with what we talk about here, okay? So you cannot change it. You cannot change it. So no status. So that means no mutator methods. All right. Any question on this? Okay. If no question, we move on. I think I used this slide in our Java class, and I want you guys to still remember this. And this is very important, and you will be tested on here on this access. So what does private mean? So what does public mean? These two are used the most, private and public. Protected, and then default we call the package. So you see the difference between the protected and the package. So the only difference is this, right? So protected, if you create a child of this class, and if that child is outside of this package, so you can still use this member, okay? But if you do not give a modifier, that means package or default. So you cannot use it, even you create a child class. Even you create a child class, okay? You cannot access the protected member or the default member of your parent. Okay? So that's the only difference between default and the protected. So remember that. So most likely you will be tested on private and the public, and this is very important. So if it's a public, you can access anywhere. Okay. If you're private, it's only accessed within this class. You cannot access it even you create a child of this class. Only is accessible within the same class. Okay. All right. So I hope you remember this. So we talk about a variable scope. So member variables, we will say class level scope or global. Okay. So that means you declare a variable in the class. Okay. So that variable is accessible in all methods in that class. So it's a class level scope. Local variables or method level variables. That means the variable is declared or defined within the method. So it is called a local variable or method level variable. And we also have a loop variable, and we see the block scope. If you use the for loop and you say for int I equal to 0, I less than 10 and I plus plus. And that I is only accessible in that loop, for loop. And if you try to access it outside of the for loop, you will get a syntax error. You will have an error. Okay. That is, we say, is the block scope. So this is like a rule in Java. So a variable declared inside a pair of brackets. Okay. And in the method has a scope within the brackets only. It'll only be visible or accessible within that block. Okay. That's a general rule. Okay, let's move on. So as a general rule in Java, we can usually access a variable as long as it was defined within the same set of brackets as the code we are writing, or within any curly brackets inside of the curly brackets where the variable is defined. Okay. All right. So what is a variable shadowing? So that means a lower level variable has the same name as a high level variable. And then the lower level variable has the privilege. So it shadows the high level variable. Okay. So that is called a variable shadowing. Okay. So if you assign a value to a variable in a method that has the same name of a variable in the global level, then you know that value is actually assigned to the variable for the local variable, not the global. So the global one is shadowed. And then how can we solve the problem? If I really wanted to assign the value to the global one, okay? So this keyword refers to the current object. So we use this, okay, this to solve that problem. So I will show you an example. Let me show you, okay, this one. Already we have an example here. You see, here is the local variable. It's the parameter name called name. And our class has a variable, which is the attribute. It has a variable also called a name. So you use this part name. And that means this is the class variable or the global variable. Here is the local variable, that means this one. That's an example. So that's why we use this keyword. So the most common use of it is to eliminate the confusion between class attributes and the parameters with the same name, because a class attribute is shadowed by a method or constructor parameters, just like what I showed you in the previous example. Okay, so you use this. And this can also be used to, so you can also use this in these situations. So invoke a current class constructor, invoke a current class method, return the current class object, pass an argument in the method call, pass an argument in the constructor call. Okay, so you can use this in those situations as well. All right, so let me do a quiz. So this is my class, okay, man. And you read it and then tell me what will be printed out. Put your answer in the chat window. I got one answer. I got two answers. Three. All right. So I got four answers and it's 50-50. Two students give me the answer A, two students give me the answer C, and the right answer is C. So Colin, can you explain why it is C, not A? Colin.
Is it is it because of like the main five? Like it wouldn't be the value of five. It's just like the place value.
Yeah, you're close. But I really want you to point that out. So let me ask Daphne. Now, Thomas, okay, you volunteered. Can you explain why it is C?
It assigned the local variable x to itself.
Yes. Yeah, because you see, when you do this constructor, okay, class is main, and this is the constructor. You pass in, and if you use the variable x here, that means we just talk about shadowing. So that means it's this variable. You do not use this. So you assign it to itself. It really doesn't make much sense. And then why it is zero? So Daphne, why it is zero? Can you tell me?
Because the like the default value is for any int. If it's not like declared, it's 0.
You're correct. I really wanted to hear that magic word, default value. So if you create an integer variable, okay, if you do not initialize it, you do not give it a value, that variable has value 0. So let me ask the students another question. If you create a Boolean variable, if you do not give it a value, so what is the default value? So let me ask Hagen.
I'm pretty sure it's false for the default value.
You're right. the default value for a Boolean variable is false. All right. So I want you guys to spend like about 20 minutes to try this one. This is a real test question. I can give you that URL. You can just read that one. And then this is test you if you understand how to write a class. Okay. This is an AP computer science test. And for 2015. And the second question, okay, it's really test you if you know how to write in the class. So let me just give you that URL so you can have it. So I also put the question here, but you know I have several slides here. It's not convenient, so I really want to give you guys this one. So go to this URL. And practice, okay? Try to write your answer to this one. I just wanted to give you a feel about the real AP computer science test. So question 2, if you click on this link, you will get a PDF file, and then you go to question 2. So let me just get that one as well myself. So okay, this one, question 2, page 8. Okay, go ahead and do that. I really want you guys to do that. Create a class and do this. I will check your work at 7:45. See if you really understand the objectives we have for Unit 5. If you finished, you can raise your hand. If you finish sooner, that's great. I will check your work. Okay. every year there will be a dedicated question for this YTech class. You have 5 more minutes to do it. Okay, definitely finish it. Let me take a look at it. And the 2 more minutes. And I will ask you stop at 7:45, okay? All right, please stop. I don't want you to continue working on it. I really want you guys to share me your work, to show me your work, okay? So I just reviewed it, Daphne's work. It is very good. If you have time in the future, you could put some comments in your Java class to make it more clear, but your code looks good. Because when we write a class, we really wanted to we really wanted to put some comments in our class. So when we generate a Java doc, then we will have some documentation for that class. All right. So can I get you guys to share your work? So Daphne, can you share yours first? Because your code looks right to me.
So I created the hidden word class and the instant variable word. It was a string, and then I have a constructor with the parameter, and then and then I use that, and then I have a getter for the instant variable, and for the method getHint. First, I initialized and declared an empty string, and then I used a for loop to compare the parameter that the user would pass in with the word from the that they created from the object. And so I created within the for loop, I first created a character which would store the value of any character at this given index I, and it changes each time time you run the for loop. And first I tested to see if this character C was equal to the it was equal to the character at this index in the actual word object. And if it was, then it would concatenate this character into this hint string that I created earlier. Else, I tested to see if this character was within this word in a different index, and I used the index of method to test that, and if it was, then it would concatenate the plus sign, else it would concatenate the asterisk, and then I returned the string.
Yep. The only thing I think you can improve is that on line 21, the first part of that if is not necessary, right? Because index of C is not equal to I, because I think in the if statement you already covered that. If it's equal to, then they will not bother to come to this else if. So that one I think it's not necessary. Do you think it's needed or not? So what do you think?
I don't think it's needed. I think I just put it there because I was a bit doubtful.
Okay. All right. Okay, very good. Yep, I think because the requirement is said you can assume the length are the same, so that's okay. All right, so can I see yours, Colin? Do you finish it? Colin. So how about your Hagen? You have not finished it yet?
No.
So how about your Thomas then?
I just have a little bit more.
All
I
right.
just have a few errors I have to fix.
So, and how about you, Jin Kang?
No, I didn't finish it.
All right. If you guys have not finished it, I really want you guys to take this home and submit it to me. I really wanted to see you guys because this is in a test class, right? AP Computer Science will prepare you for the test. I really wanted to see how you are doing with the knowledge you have learned. If I do not see where you are doing good or where you are doing not that good, then I have no clue how to help you. For the review class, you know, I just review all the topics that will be tested. But you know, you really do not want me to spend the efforts evenly. I really wanted to help you more on your weakness. So I do expect that you finish those. Also, Daphne, go back, write your class and put the comments in it. Just you know, do some Google search, see how to write comments and the Java Docker comments. Put that in, so make your class look perfect. And I expect you all submit that to me in the classroom. I can just put this as a requirement, like a homework requirement. Go ahead and do it. I really want you guys to do this because, you know, session 2, we will keep doing that. Of course, we will do more on the multiple choices, but you know, you do get a question like this and free response questions. So if you do not get used to it, then how can you finish your test? All right, I think that's all I have. I will put this as a homework and I expect you guys to submit it to me as soon as possible. So I can get a feedback, know that how you are doing in your Java coding. Again, if you are interested to, you know, further your Java skills, you can consider join the robotics club because we do need more programs there as well. We have several students from our Java class in the robotic club, and they are doing great. And one for the team already advanced to the state. Okay, that's all I have. I will return the class back to Miss He.
Hi, Dr. Yan. Sorry, I have another class at the same time. Yeah. So